What's up, what it do, cyber world? It's your girl, the one and only Ash Brown, and this is my recap of House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 8, The Queen Who Ever Was. OMG. I feel away, y'all. I'm a little conflicted. I feel away. I'll say this to start off. I don't like how they ended it. I needed some blood. I needed somebody to have the upper hand. I get it. They're building the adrenaline up. But y'all, we gotta wait for like another year and a half, possibly 2 years to get a third season. So this was a very unclimactic season ender. All right, finale. This was not like last season, Luke got killed and we were like, oh snap, So I was waiting for that moment of, oh goodness, oh snap, this is this, it just kind of leaves things on. But I did not like how they ended this season. I don't like it. They could have done something else. Where to begin? Okay, so starting off at the top. So Tywin Lannister, he is in Essos trying to get with their people because he needs a bunch of people to be, he needs more people to help with the army, right? They need more people that's going to be helping. And so they basically said that they wanted the stepstones, and he's like, yeah, I'll work on that. And we'll see what we can pull about. And they said, look, we will help you out. We'll join your army and all that good stuff. But you have to let I don't know what they called this person. I don't know if it was a sergeant or whatever, but Lohar. It was Lohar, I believe. And they were like, only if this person can go with you. And he's like, sure, great, whatever. And so they finally reveal the person, and it's a female, y'all. It's a female. And he's looking like, what did I just agree to? Aemon, he watches a town burn. Like you can tell that he's the one that did it. Him and Vhagar still reaping havoc on towns and cities and everything. And I'm like, okay, that's not King's Landing. I'm not sure where it is, but we soon find out that it is Sharp Point. And from last episode, he was going to Dragonstone and he saw all the dragons that Rhaenyra now has. And he turned Vhagar around because Vhagar may be the biggest and the baddest one. However, he's outnumbered. She's outnumbered. So as a way of him kind of like quite literally blowing off steam, he goes and like burns this town down, like just sets it ablaze just because of his temper, his anger, and he's just all in this mode of war. We gotta win. He's not considering people. He's not considering the repercussions of the actions. He is just like, we gotta go to war. We gotta make this stuff work. So we go to Aegon. We see Aegon, it's not as bad as before, but he's still not 50%. He's still struggling to get things around. And the maester is kind of seeing to him. And then Larys comes in and visits with him. And he tells him, look, we need to go. we need to get up out of here because your brother's going to come back and you're in danger, essentially. And Aegon is like, well, I'm always in danger or something is going to happen. And, why should I run? And he's like, look, your brother went off and saw all those dragons at Dragonstone. He had a temper tantrum thing going on. He decided to burn down Sharp Point to a crisp. And God knows what he's going to do when he gets back here. So, look, you and I need to go disappear. I got some money stashed up. We can go and holler at some people that I know. And let's get out of there. So, he tells him that, Rhaenyra has 3 new dragon riders. And he's like, oh, that's impossible. That could never happen. He's like, yeah, your brother thought the same thing. And that's not really what it is. It's not what it is. So Larys is really giving him a reality check. And now we know that, I forgot what was it Sunfire? I think his dragon was Sunfire. His dragon is dead. So officially Sunfire is gone. So he's sad, he's depressed. And basically Laird kind of snaps him out of it and basically talks him into leaving or whatever. But we don't know if he's really going to leave or he's just pondering it. So they cut to the next scene. Rhaena. Rhaena is running to the water. She has been running and walking and traveling for days. Who even knows? She has been looking for this dragon. I'm like, dear sweet baby Jesus, at least at the minimum, can we get Rhaena to get a dragon by the end of the episode, at the end of the finale? If nothing else happens, can Rhaena get her dragon, please? So she's running for water. She really has no direction. She really doesn't know where she's going. She's just kind of going with the wind, and maybe she's seeing little clues here and there, but she really doesn't have like a solid plan on finding this dragon and claiming it. So we get little tidbits and little bursts of her throughout the episode. Jace, Ulf, and Hugh catch up. Okay. Now, remember from last episode, Jace is really kind of... he's stuck on the fact that he is a bastard, that, you know, his father, his actual birth father, was not the father that claimed him, obviously. And everyone knows it. He knows it. He's heard all the rumors throughout the years. And so having these dragon seeds come in, to him, it's a side of disrespect, because essentially, if they can claim a dragon, then what's stopping anybody else from claiming a dragon? And challenging it to get a dragon, he's thinking forward, but at the same token, he's really not considering what it really means, because he is his mother's heir. And he figures that his paternity could be challenged after her passing, and maybe people don't want him to be the ruler because of him being a bastard, so to speak. So he's got a chip on his shoulder as he's dealing with these guys. Hugh, of course, has sense. I feel Ulf is going to be the problematic person. I feel he's going to be the problematic person because he doesn't really have any couth about him. He doesn't know how to talk to people. He insults Jace. It's just a whole situation in that scene. And Jace informs him, look, if you cost us the crown, if you cost us in this war, I'm going to make sure that you pay for it. You know, he's like, right now, Aemon has just burned down a whole city and town because he's pissed because we have you guys now. You know, so Jace is still thinking progressively, but he's still in his own feelings, and he is feeling the wrath of the possibility of these people not being who they said that they are. I don't think he's really thinking about that. He's more or less of the optics of it, of dragon seeds coming in and claiming dragons, and anyone can claim a dragon, and if that's the case, anyone can challenge the crown. Okay, so Rhaenyra, she is reviewing the Dragon Riders with Corlys. So they're talking about the Dragon Riders. Corlys basically says, look, you need to strike, and strike quick, and strike swiftly. And Rhaenyra, she's too confident now that she's got these dragons. And I feel that she was getting too comfortable and too confident that, oh, well, you know, we've got these dragon riders now and all this stuff. And Corlys is reminding her, look, they also have dragons, so let's not sleep on that. And she's like, yeah, but, you know, Helaena, she's not one. She's never ridden, and she won't ride a dragon, so we're good, we're safe. Corlys is still, like, telling her, look, you need to be ready and strike. Aemon is not going to stop at just burning down that poor place. Sharport, I don't remember a reference to that previously, but Sharport just cooked up this episode, all right? They got barbecued up. That was something else. And so he's like, yeah, he's not going to stop. So you're going to have to really be ready and really just jump into it. And he gives her that vote of confidence saying, you are ready. You're ready. And you've got 6 dragons under your banner. My ships will sail at your command. You have men that will serve you. All of my men will serve you. you've got this. He's given her the vote of confidence. And then so she's talking and referring to the sea snake, his ship. And he's like, no, I've renamed her. I've renamed the ship to the Queen Who Never Was. And that was just such a touching moment of him just kind of honoring Rhaenys, when she's gone this season. And it was just so sweet. Like, I think that was like the most like major death this season. But yeah, so he's definitely feeling that. So he's like, yeah, you need to crush the beast. You need to get this done. Nip this in the bud as soon as possible, because things is about to get real. Okay? Things are about to get real. So, finally, okay, the guy that Rhaenyra sent to Harrenhal to check on Daemon, he finally gets to Daemon. Finally, right? Because it's been like at least 3 episodes since she sent him. She sent him a while ago. I'm like, it shouldn't have took 2 years for you to get there to Harrenhal, but that's just my take on it. That's my take. So, he goes and meets with Daemon, and he's like, and it's so funny because this whole time, and we'll get into it, but so they're talking, and the guy is basically trying to turn on Rhaenyra. He's like, look, you are king material. You need to be king, yada, yada, yada. And then out of nowhere, the wind like says, traitor. I was like, wow. And Daemon doesn't seem fazed by it. He doesn't seem fazed by it. He seems like, oh, okay. Like, he's very intuitive now. He's been at Harrenhal like the whole doggone season, it seemed like. And so he's not really, like, the guy is more spooked than Daemon is. Daemon is just like, oh, taking note of this, really. So he tells Daemon that, look, you've gathered an army. Rhaenyra has faltered, and she's taking reckless action, and I fear the worst. You are king material. You're supposed to be the king. So Daemon chuckles and walks off, and then the older guy, Sir Strong, I think his name is something Sir Strong. We'll probably get back to that, but Sir Strong hears him, and he's overhearing it, and he's like, okay. And so you just see that. You're just like, okay, he sees him. Aemon is given the rundown of the dragon seeds and all the people that left King's Landing for Dragonstone. All those people that Rhaenyra had basically called for last episode. He's getting the rundown of that. So he's like, look, we're going to blockade this. And I don't want anything entering or leaving without a thorough search and all these things. And they're telling him, look, we can't really do that. People, we still need food and supplies. And Aemon's response was basically like, look, we all must make a sacrifice. And I'm like, he is so robotic, unsympathetic, uncaring, inhumane. He's trying to play to win, but he's not considering the whole picture. Aegon got a little drunk with power, but at the same token, he was still slightly considerate of people. That was very evident. He did get drunken with power and, felt a little worthless and felt like he had no real purpose as king. But Aemon is just reckless. He is just like balls to the walls, and I'm just going to do some stuff and we're going to see what happens. So they show Helaena and Alicent, and they're talking, and Helena's like, I don't know why they hate us, and Alicent's like, look, what about us leaving? How do you feel about leaving the castle, Helaena? How do you feel about it? And Aemon busts in, and he greets Helaena, he greets his mother, and he's like, look, the crown needs your service. She's like, what? He's like, yeah, I need you to ride Dreamfire to battle with me at Harrenhal. And she's like, I don't want to kill anybody. And he grabs her arm and is like pulling her. Is like, look, this is our birthright. This is what you're supposed to do, and all these different things. And you're just like, wow. Alicent kind of steps in the middle of it. She pulls him away from her and is like, not like this. This is not the way to do things. This is not how things are done. and Aemon just storms off. Alicent, the next thing is she sees the Grand Maester and she asks him for passage and for discretion. So you're like, okay, like, are they gonna like escape in the middle of the night? Like, what is the situation? I don't know. So, Sir Criston Cole. I've been okay with not seeing him for the last couple episodes because he has been getting on my last nerve. I do not like this character. The actor himself he's really great. He's really, really awesome. But yeah. I think that Criston Cole, I feel like he served his purpose. It's not going to be like a terrible thing if he just doesn't show up again. But yeah, so he has this handkerchief that Alicent gave him because it's got an A on it. And he's like smelling it. And you could tell he's like, oh, I'm reminiscing and all these things. And all of a sudden, Alicent's brother, Sir Gawain, he comes up and he's like, he basically calls out Cole. It's like, yeah, I know you've been sleeping with my sister. Yada, yada, yada. Don't you have any honor? What about the oath that you took? Yada, yada, yada. And Cole basically says, look, Alicent actually saved my life twice. And at this stage of the game, he's like, what if I report you? He's like, well, you could do that. You could go ahead and do that, but we're going to die anyways. He's like, we're marching to our annihilation. Essentially, that's going to be it for us. And you can almost see the horror in Sir Gawain's face as he's realizing, like, wow, this guy is ready to die. He's, like, okay with it. Okay, Sir Tywin Lannister. So he's got to mud wrestle Lehor, and she is kicking his ass. She is whooping him in this mud competition. She is beating him down. Like, she just throwing him, flinging him in the dirt, y'all. It's horrible. It was so bad. And I think he just got fed up and hit her 2 really good times to where even the crowd was like, ooh, dang, like, what did he just do? And in that moment, he basically won her honor. And he won her favor, I'll say. He won her favor. And then they invite him to dinner. And we'll see what happens after that, right? So, Baela and Jace. So, Baela tries to talk some sense into Jace because, again, he's just like the spoiled little rich kid. Woe is me, what may or may not happen. It's like, that's something you need to worry about what's happening today versus what could possibly happen in the future. And he's just so caught up in being a bastard. He's so super caught up in it. He's remembering what people would say. He's remembering the whispers and all of that. And so he can't get out of that for whatever reason. He's totally and completely caught up in that. Rhaena is cold as hell. Okay, poor Rhaena. I just want Rhaena to get her dragon, y'all. Rhaena is out in the wilderness, y'all. She's on the ground. She is freezing her buns off looking for this dragon. She's freezing. She's shivering. It just break my heart. I'm like, just get the girl a dragon, please. I really just need her to get a dragon the first episode of season 3. She needs her dragon. That needs to be the first thing that happens, please. So, they go back to Tywin Lannister and Lehor and the whole town or whatever. They're having dinner and celebrations and all these things. And he has a speech and he's singing and it's weird. But, then towards the end, he's like trying to go to bed because he's like, look, I'm tired. I just want to go to bed and just be done with it. And Lehor turns to him and she's like, I'm impressed with you, Sir Tywin Lannister. I wish to have children by you. And I was like, wow, that was very, very forward and very, that was very forward of her. And she's like, yeah, I want you to sleep with my wives. So I was like, wow, she's got wives, not just one. So that was interesting. Then we have dinner at Dragonstone, and we've got the dragon seeds, sitting up, eating with Rhaenyra and the rest of the family. And she kind of has a little mini speech with them. It's like, look, I've entrusted you all with a lot of power with these dragons. You've been entrusted with a lot. And I need for you all to just respect the position, do what is noble, and should all go well in the war, I will make you all knights. And Ulf is just too He is too caught up in him having a dragon, y'all. He's too comfortable. He thinks that he is just in a safe mood. He is too comfortable at the table with them. He is passing just crude jokes. I believe he is going to be an issue later. I can see him switching to Team Green. I can definitely see that happening. He is unhinged. He doesn't have any manners. And he just doesn't know how to carry himself in a respectful manner. So I see him being a problem later. I don't know why. I feel it. He's going to be an issue. He is definitely going to be an issue. So I could see him turning on Rhaenyra. I definitely think that that's something that's going to happen. Adam, I think, respects Rhaenyra because he understands the position and what he's been given. And also Hugh is definitely, I mean, he's got the second biggest dragon after Vhagar. Vermithor. That's what he's got, Vermithor. And I believe that since he has such close ties with Rhaenyra, I think he's less likely to switch up on her. Ulf he's a wild card, and I feel like he's going to do something reckless, crazy, and either compromise what the Blacks have going on or is going to completely change to Team Green. I'm predicting it. I'm seeing it. So, during dinner, Rhaenyra has a message from Harrenhal. I was like, oh, he's got a message from Harrenhal. She got a message from Harrenhal. How does she have a message from Harrenhal? That's, So, y'all remember Sir Strong. That's there. I want to say it's Sir Erwin Strong. The older gentleman with the white hair that's on Harrenhal. That he oversees everything. He knows what's going on with everything. He sends a message to Rhaenyra saying he feels that Sir Simon Strong, that's what it is, Sir Simon Strong. He fears Daemon is headed toward treachery. And so Rhaenyra calls Adam with her, and she's like, come on, Adam, So she calls him, and they go off. So at Harrenhal, Alice, I want to say, what's her name? Alice Waters or Alice Rivers? I think it's Alice Rivers. Alice, she's sitting at Daemon's bedside, and he's like, do you not sleep, witch? And she says, oh, I'm going to Godswood. And so she's walking outside, and Daemon goes with her. So basically, she's having this whole speech, and she's saying, you have grown and you've changed a lot since initially coming here. Like, you have really changed. And he's agreeing with her as well and all that. And she asked him if he's ready for what is for him. And then he puts his hand on like this tree trunk, and it's bleeding. And he starts to get visions, y'all. You see the three-eyed raven, you see the White Walkers, you're seeing all kinds of death and war, and then you see like Daemon drowning. And then, y'all, I got so excited about this part. This is probably like my favorite part in the whole episode. So then you see the 3 dragon eggs in fire. And if you remember from Game of Thrones, that's when Daenerys got the eggs. And so the next thing that he sees Daenerys and the hatched eggs. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember that scene. I was so excited. That super got me excited. I was very, very excited about that. And then he sees the Iron Throne, and he's looking, and he's seeing like a shadow. Someone's sitting on the Iron Throne. Who's on the Iron Throne? And it's Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra's on the Iron Throne. And Helaena speaks to him also. So it makes you also think, because I know in the books, they said Helaena, she was one that she saw the future and stuff. She may not get the context of what she was seeing. So that's a lot of the reason why a lot of people did not understand her, because they were like, oh, she talks in parables or whatever the case is. But she really just didn't know how to interpret what she was seeing. So Helaena speaks to him and says, it's all a story, and you're just one part of it. Know your part. You know your part. And I think that was more of just furthermore telling Daemon, look, you know what you must do. and you are just one part in the story that's going to help the rest of the generations to come. You're just one part in it, so don't forget that. So, Aemon tries to appeal to Helena's soft side. He tries to go a different route, less abrasive, less intrusive, less forceful. And he's like, just come with me, sister. Come with me to Harrenhal. And she says, and if I refuse, will you burn me like you did Aegon? I was like, ooh, will you burn me like you did Aegon? And he said, that is a lie. And she says, I saw it. You burned him and you let him fall. He says, what you say is treason. Because that's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, she's really bold in this moment, because I could see him just tossing her in one of those prison cells in a dungeon somewhere and just be like, oh, she's lost her mind. And so Helena also states, she says, Aegon will be king again. He's not yet seen a victory. He sits on a wooden throne. I was like, he sits on a wooden throne. Okay, that's different. And you will be dead. Aemon says to her, I could have you killed. And she says, it wouldn't change anything. And you're like, ooh, so that was further recognition, because she knew after everything that happened with Aegon, she knew, because she even said to him, as Aemon came back and he was looking at the Iron Throne, Elena had come in and she was like, was it worth it? And she didn't go any further. She's just like, was it worth it? And so it's kind of interesting that she actually saw everything, and she even saw some of the future. So I thought that was really awesome. I thought that was good. So Rhaenyra and Adam go to Harrenhal. Daemon meets Rhaenyra, and it's like, it's at that moment because they've been apart for like most of the season. And so you're like, oh yeah, wife is coming to check on you, buddy. Yeah, buddy. You taking your time, buddy. So he says, I wasn't expecting you. They're all sworn to me. And Rhaenyra's like, so who are you sworn to? And they start talking to Valerian. They start talking that Valerian stuff. And he basically said, like, this war is only the beginning. And she's like, oh, you sound like father. And he says, I saw it. And winter is coming. And this is just the beginning stages of it. And in that moment, you're like, okay, so what is really going to happen? Because I'm praying one thing and I'm hoping that thing happens. And Daemon kneels to Rhaenyra. And then the army then follows his lead and they also kneel. And he's like, we fight for our queen. And, in that moment, like, she's emotional. Like, you could tell she's emotional, but she's also understands that she's got to be the leader. And she cannot show emotion. But you could tell, like, she's bursting with, like, admiration. Like, she's feeling good, this confirmation of, he is with me. He supports me. He respects me as the leader. I can run with that. I like it. Definitely like that. Alan and Corlys, they have a talk. Corlys is like talking to Alan. It's like, look, the shipmen are saying that you're mean, you're not friendly, you're not personable, blah, blah, blah. And Alan's like, look, I'll change it. I'll be better, whatever. And then he just walks off. And Corlys is like, well, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you here. And Alan is like, I ain't never asked this man for nothing. I've never asked you, Corlys, for nothing. He's like, I used to go to, I think he said, the ship market. And I saw you there with your heir, and y'all were in furs and seeing the loving father bond. He's like, do you know what that does to a kid to not have a father, to be fatherless? He's like, I've never asked you for anything. I never will. And that's not even, he's like, when we get back to town, I will continue to serve you, but I will decline any offers of help. I will decline any offers of help. And since your kids are dead, you remember that I live. Your kids are dead and you remember that I live. So, and he walks off, and Corlys, because I just feel like Corliss, he's starting to break down because, Rhaenys was the love of his life. Legitimately. She was the love of his life. And him not recognizing his children, that was a problem for her. Especially when she found out that at least one of them was working for him. She was not for that life. And she wanted him to recognize them. And I feel as though he is going to make Alan his heir. Because it just makes sense. He might as well claim him. At some point, I think it's going to come up. And it's going to be put out to the forefront. So that should be interesting. Rhaena finally sees the dragon. And she runs to it, y'all. She's following this dragon. I'm like, poor Rhaena. Poor Rhaena. Doggone dragon. Mysaria and Rhaenyra, they have a talk. And she's talking. She's like, look, thousands will die. And Mysaria also just tells her, look, your father left you with no choice. This is the way that it has to be. This is it. So, a knight comes to Rhaenyra's chambers in the middle of the night, just randomly. And he's like, I beg your pardon, your majesty. And she's going down to the staircase. I'm thinking at this point, I'm like, what the heck did Ulf do? Because I know he did something. He's raggedy. Ulf is not a good one. He is just taking advantage of too much stuff. What did Ulf do? It is not Ulf at all, y'all. It's actually Alicent. Alicent is at Dragonstone. Why are you here? Because I lost my way. Or maybe my way was taken away from me. I'm just like, Alicent, this whole you gonna take a plea type of thing. I was really not interested in anything Alicent had to say. I was really tired of Alicent, honestly and truthfully. I really am surprised that she lasted this long. I would not have been heartbroken if she got taken out just randomly somewhere. Because I was just tired. So Alicent has this plan, and she's like, look, Aemon is getting ready to meet Cole in the Riverlands. And that in 3 days' time, you can come and claim your throne. And I'll make sure that the people at the gate, that they let you and your people in, just so that we can avoid this war. And it's like they've switched from the last conversation that they had in the church. And Rhaenyra's like, it's too late. You even said it was too late. Like, this is not even happening. She then also talks about Viserys, and she's like, he never stopped loving your mother. He was fond of me, but his love for your mother, really, that's what kept him going. And, they say, you're going to have to choose a son for a son, and rightfully so. Rhaenyra's still pissed. Her kid is gone. And Alicent kind of like agrees to it. Like, okay, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I felt that was an interesting moment for that character, because I don't think that she would have ever done anything like that previously, had not seen that her sons were out of control. But I don't know. I just feel like she had some nerve. Like, what the heck? Going to Dragonstone, just risking it all, trying to get there. Because, technically, if Aemon found out, he could have her head. That's treason right there. But she wanted to set things right. And I'm like, girl, sit down somewhere. War is starting. This is before internet and text messages. The wheels are in motion. It really just depends on what it is that you're going to do. So, me personally, I don't trust Alicent. I don't know why. Her coming to Dragonstone, I don't trust it. I don't feel like it's right. And it just, I don't know. Because it's like, really, she doesn't really have power. She doesn't have any power. She's like, oh, well, I can talk to Aegon. I can control him. And she's like, you're still defending him. So I don't like Alicent coming there. I don't trust it. I don't know what the real goal of that was, because I felt that it was pointless in trying to do that. And then they start building things up. The armies are headed to war by land and by sea. And we get a glimpse. Otto Hightower. He's not dead, y'all. he's like in a prison somewhere, or in somebody, like he's being transported somewhere. He's like in like this weird looking cage looking thing. Like, it looked like it might be a prison, but maybe he's being transported somewhere, or maybe he hid somewhere. Maybe he went in with the livestock to get across town or something. I don't know. But Otto is not dead, so he will definitely be back next season. And Lairs and Aegon, they're also on the road as well. So they got out. They got right out of Dodge, before things really hit. And I just felt that this was a bad ending for a season that really could have given us more. All right, the first three episodes, y'all were really just messing with us, and that was not cool. That was not cool. And this season finale, for this to be the season finale, y'all didn't give us nothing. Like, you gave us a glimpse of Otto. That really ain't. Y'all could have did better than that. Disappointed in the season finale, but still a huge fan of the show. I appreciate you guys being on this journey with me as I talk about one of my favorite shows. And hopefully in 2 years' time, we will be in a better situation as far as plot lines go, and hopefully we just go straight into war, because I really was thinking that was what we were doing this season, and Rhaenyra didn't get ruthless like I wanted her to get ruthless, but it is what it is, I suppose. It's exactly what it is, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being on this ride with me, and I hope that you have a great, fantabulous week ahead. And I will holler at y'all at my next review, next show. There's a couple of greenlit series that just hit for HBO, so we'll hear about some more from the Game of Thrones universe soon and very soon. Hopefully within the next year, we should get some details about that. But I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Deuces.